Hello, my name is Peter, and today I'm going to be teaching you about the LEGO Mindstorms EV3. The LEGO Mindstorms EV3 is a robotics kit made by LEGO that is very versatile and can do basically whatever you want it to do. Whether that is compete in a robotics competition like First LEGO League or compete in a different LEGO competition like the World Robotics Olympiad, it can do basically whatever you want it to do. Or if you just want it to have fun with, it can also do that. So, what credentials do I have in teaching you any of this? Well, I have 4 years of First LEGO League experience, and currently this year, my team is gearing up to go to the First LEGO League World Championships in St. Louis. And to give you an idea on how crazy hard it is to get into that, there's 108 teams going to our competition, um, out of 29,000 teams worldwide. There's another world championship in Texas as well, and 109 other teams are going to that one. So that's 217 teams out of 29 to 30,000 worldwide. The other part that gives of my credentials are that I have been programming since before LEGO League as well. I've been programming since I was basically six, 6 or 7. I've been programming since, and uh, you need to be in the U.S. You need to be in 4th grade, so like 10 to join LEGO League. To start off with, in this video, we will be looking around the user interface for so you can really get a feel of how to program. It's really, when you're getting into a new program, it is really good to know the interface, know what you're programming in, so that you can troubleshoot whatever goes wrong. To start off with, we will learn how to open up a program. Oh, and also, I must say we aren't going to be doing any programming in this episode. So if you want to see how to program, because you are already familiar with the interface, skip to the next video in the playlist. And for those of you who are watching this right after it comes out, that should be out here in no more than 1 or 2 weeks. To start off with, to open up a program, you click File, New Project. Now, for those of you who have the LEGO Mindstorms Home Edition, which you should be able to tell in this bar up at the very top, as you can see, mine says LEGO Mindstorms Education EV3 Teacher Edition. It will be slightly different, as in you won't have the option to you won't have this arrow right here to pick program or experiment. You'll just have File New Project. And then you can click program if you are one of those who does have the education edition, like you're using it for school or something. Alternatively to opening up that way, you can also just click this plus sign right here, add project. So we will go ahead and do that. Now we are inside of the interface. As you can see, we have up here in the top left hand corner, we have 4 basic controls. We have the lobby, which brings us back out to the home screen. We have project properties, which I will get into in a second. We have add project and new add program / experiment, but for you it should just say add program. So let's get into this project properties. In here, you will see that this is where all of your controls, your main controls for basically everything is. You can change your project title in here. So I'm going to name it Tutorial Series. Then you have the option to daisy chain, which we will not want to do. So don't daisy chain unless you know what you're doing. You have your different list of programs. As you can see right now, since we just created the project, we only have one program, but we can do many different things with this one program to start off with. If we click on it, as you can see, it opens up a whole bunch of different options down here. So what we can do, we can copy it, and then we can paste it. So now, as you can see, we have two. And this is a good time to go over how to delete. So if you click on that and hit delete, then the program will be gone. That is different than going up here under the where it says project, going up over to program and clicking the X. That will just close it. It won't permanently delete the program. The other ones here are import, which means that you can import an EV3 program, which is a .ev3p, which you won't get into for a while. So we will go over that in a future episode. Or the export, which means that you can save an EV3, your EV3 program file. So then you can go over here to images, sounds, MyBlocks, variables, and exportable items. Those are all going to be empty right now because we haven't gone through any of that quite yet. So let's go back over to program. Now let's deal with the bottom bar right here. As you can see, we have 6 colors right here, which are 6 menus, 6 tabs. The first menu that we are currently selected on is called Action. The next one is Flow Control. Then we have Sensor, Data Operations, Advanced, and MyBlocks. In the first few episodes, we will primarily be dealing in Action, Flow Control, and Sensor. The other 3 we will be getting into in farther off episodes. Then down here in the bottom right hand corner, we have our robot control settings. So as you can see, I have a robot named DemoBot2 plugged into via USB. As you can see, connection type. This is how much storage. So if you click on here, we're at the memory browser. It has a whole bunch of different stuff programmed onto here. So we can go over how to delete. So if we go over here to demo bots, we have a whole bunch of different demo programs on there. I won't delete that one. Hexagon, that creates a hexagon, I think. I didn't program that one. But we can go here to tutorial series. Failed attempt at doing this before. We have multiple different options we can do here. We can download that, which will basically download that program to download that program to this file. So if we have like I was saying earlier, one of those EV3p .ev3p programs files, then we can insert that into here. Or we can copy it and paste it so that we can have a copy of it on there. Or we can simply delete. And then as you can see, it's gone. Although we do have 5 megabytes of storage on this, which may not sound like a lot, but in reality it is quite a bit unless you're loading a whole load of sounds and pictures and stuff onto the bot, then it can fill up pretty quickly. You can also add an SD expansion, which currently I do not have, but if you need to, then you can add one of those. So we'll just close out of that. Also down here, if you click right here where it says where it has this little like I don't know, like Pac-Man looking thing, click that. You can see what you have plugged into each port. So port A, B, C, and D are on the are by the screen on the EV3 brick. which you will see on your screen right now. It's up at the top by the screen. And then 1, 2, 3, and 4 are down at the bottom, closer to where it says EV3 and Lego. So as you can see, I have in B and C, I have 2 large motors in there, and as you can see, they have currently 865 degrees on the motor and 504 degrees on C. In ports 1 and 4, in port 1 I have a light sensor, and in port 4 I have an ultrasonic sensor. Then if you go down one, you can see the different types of connections that you can have. So this button here will disconnect. This will refresh your page, so in case you have another robot connected or something, then you can choose to connect to that one versus connect to this one. So the different connection options are USB, Bluetooth, or Wi-Fi. For Wi-Fi, you will need to get a dongle to attach to your robot through the USB port on the side. However, for this tutorial, I won't be showing you how to do that. I will in a later video show you how to use the Bluetooth though, because I did figure out how to do that, so it's not that hard. Over here under where it says EV3, if you hover over that, it'll say EV3 brick connected. Now you're going to be saying, duh, of course the EV3 brick is connected. Well, that will basically just tell you what type of brick is connected, if it's the EV3 or if it's the NXT. Because yes, you can program the NXT through this interface, although some of the functions won't work. So obviously it'll say NXT here if you have an NXT connected. These 3 buttons right here are used for different things. This one, as you can see, that says download. This will download the entire project file. Now that's very important. The entire project file onto the robot. As you can see up here where it says project and program. Program is in the project file. Similarly, if I were to open up a new program, program 2 is also in the same project file. So you need to keep in mind that when you are programming, it will download the entire project file, and you have to be aware of that. To start off with the download and run, basically, whichever one you are selected on, it will be the one that you download and it'll run the program. So I'll show you that now. Nothing happened, as you could see. There was just the sound that told you that it was done downloading, and then it didn't do anything because there is no program in this here. So if I were to add just a random block for now and go over to a new program, I could download and run, but it still won't do anything because we are under program 2. Although if I were to go over to program and click download and run, as you may or may not have heard, the motor did start moving there. And I can prove it by going over here. As you can see, this one says 362, and this one says 0. So, yeah. That will prove that the B did just move, because it resets every time you run a program. And then there is just run selected. So basically, as you can see, there's a blue outline on this block up here right now. It's like an aqua color. If I were to click off of it, you can see it is now gone. Click back on, it's there. Off, it's gone. On, it's there. Anyway, you get the point. So that basically, if you click run selected, it won't download anything. It'll just run the bit of code that you have selected from here without having to download it. So as you can see, it did run it. Up here in the top right hand corner, we do have multiple things. As you can see, that you've probably been wondering, what is this big box right here? This big box, you can have different things like sounds, video, images, text. It's basically a PowerPoint feature built into the programming interface. Um, this can be used if you are making a tutorial series and you won't be able to make a video, then you can just have these in here and have text explaining what each of your programs do and how they work, which can be useful. But for now, we don't need to edit any of that, so we'll just click right here and close the content editor. And now that gets that out of the way, so we have more room for programming. This button right here, as you can see, you can zoom in, or you can zoom out. But then say that you don't know like where the default size is, and you really like the default size. Then you can click this reset zoom button, and it's back to normal size. Then there's undo and redo standards. So as you can see, I undid that block there and redid it. So I'll probably undo that. There's save, so you can save the entire project. There's note. This is very important. The comments are very important when you're programming. You need to put those in. It's really good. It's a really good practice to do it, because then if somebody else is picking up where you left off, then they will know exactly what each of the blocks do. So if I was to redo and put this down here, as you can see, it'll always open up in this corner. So if I click on that and drag it, I usually do above, but you can do below as well if you need to. Double click on it, and then you can type in goes forward 1 rotation. Then you can resize the box right here and put it right there. So that's very important. You're going to want to do those for each of your blocks, most likely, if it's a simple program. And then when you get into more complex programs where you have multiple blocks essentially doing the same thing, like in Lego League, if you're having it go back to base, then you can say, if it just like stops doing everything else, then you can say this is the process for it going back to base, and then expand this for all of those blocks that it will be using to go back to base. And then there's these right here. There's the pan and select. So pan, if you select that, then it'll basically move around to your canvas, your programming canvas. And select, which basically you'll be able to select these, and it brings that blue outline back. And then there's the program / experiment list. For you guys, it'll probably just say program list, because you probably won't have an education edition. So you can click on that, hit project properties, and then it brings you back to this tab, where you can delete and do the other stuff. Or if you have a lot of different programs here that you can't reach because you got so many of them, then you can just click here and click the program that you want if you can't see it. Or maybe you accidentally closed it or something, then you can go back here and reopen it. Up here you have where it says file, you have file, which basically is dealing with all of your experiments and programs. So you can open a new project, add a program, add experiment, open a project, close document, close project, save project as, print, and exit. Or you can edit, change language, paste. Tools, you're going to have a sound editor, image editor, block builder, firmware update, wireless setup, block import, download as app, memory browser, and then other stuff that you won't need to deal with. Oh, and then import brick program. That's stuff you won't need to deal with for a little while. And then, of course, you have help, which basically, if you need help with anything, or you need to go to the About page, then you can do that. So that's going to wrap up the first video of the EV3 tutorial series. And so I hope you learned a lot about the different areas of the programming interface. And next video we'll start talking about motor control and other different types of sensors and loops, a whole load of fun stuff. And it's not that complicated. This is pretty much the easiest programming language you will ever encounter. It's even easier than normal LabVIEW, which is what this program is based off of. It's a slimmed down version of LabVIEW, and LabVIEW is actually used by hundreds of thousands of engineers worldwide to program their machines, except it's a graphical programming language like this versus a non-graphical one like Java or HTML, and so it makes it even easier than those. So in a few weeks, you guys should be fluent in another language. It is a programming language, but it's still a different language. See you guys next time.